I deleted the other one. They were taking too long. Yeah, I don't get impatient with, Northrop Grumman, Halliburton, NASA, and all that. I don't get impatient with them. I just don't put up with them. You know what I mean? Get impatient with them. I used to could. Yeah, I used to could. But I realize now I don't have to get impatient with them because they ain't going to do nothing to do right. And I realize all the people on the outside looking in is just as bad as they is, only they think they ain't. It's like, you do know it's your DAC pay of dollars that put up all this shit to make sure that everybody be fighting and fucking over the money, right? Like I said in the earlier video that I made that I just deleted, in the playground of my mind, Dave Rockefeller talked to a man named Charlton Heston and explained to him that, you know what self-righteous means? It means thinking you're right when you're obviously wrong, right? It's funny. It's very funny, when you get somebody that believes something that you like, that ain't real, right? You got that wrong, right? And then there's me. Yeah, then there's me. That Rockefeller thought I was wrong too, because I was supposed to be the guy from the Bible, and they went and studied him. He was like, well, he's an exceptional kid. He's a really good kid. He's very exceptional. I mean, he's just really, his capacity to forgive, he has these abilities to kick everybody's ass and beat everybody's ass and be awesome and intelligent and great if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to because he doesn't want to beat anybody up. He just wants to get along. All I want to do is, baby, be friends with you. So Rockefeller knew this. He studied me my whole life. He knew how exceptional I was, but he also knew what a good person I was. But he thought I was a chump because I'd put up with and take so much shit, But it was the way I would assess things and go, okay, if I do this, that will happen. And they didn't have any outer dialogue, so they had trouble figuring me out. And then when I went to Sierra Vista and they came and revealed themselves to me, I'm here to talk, blah. And I went, and then I have, when I went on YouTube and Facebook and I knew they were constantly watching, then I had outer dialogue. And then they went, oh, fuck, he's been kicking our ass all along because he knew what he was doing all along, and we thought he was stupid or crazy or a chump. Yeah, you know what self-righteous is, right? It's believing and thinking you're right when you're obviously wrong, right? So, So, all these people, I know the Bible. It's like, you don't know the Bible because you're not part of the Bible. Okay. If you're not part of the Bible, you don't tell the people that are part of the Bible about the Bible. Okay? It's number one. Okay? And I used to tell them that all the time when they first started this shit in Sierra Vista, and they brought all these Bible experts to me and shit like that. It's like reading my diary and saying, here's what you meant. We know because we were studying you and watching you. It's like, they did not know. Okay. My inner dialogue. Okay. I didn't start giving out, I wasn't like John Nash, and having, I was never like that. I always just, the little voices in my head stayed in my head. So I was like, okay. There was a couple of times with the stuff with Amy and Natalie that I spoke out loud to Jesus. The Paul Westphal scholarship thing, that there was, most of them, I would have and be thinking. And then you just have inner dialogue in your head, and I don't speak it out loud. And so a lot of the stuff, they kind of tried to put it together, but they couldn't figure out how my mind works. Well, because they're clinically insane, they're jealous, they're aggressive, they're abusive, and they're stupid and psychotic. And me, I'm not. And when you're dealing with, like when I got Sierra Vista and told Jesus, all that shit. I would tell them that with the stuff with Amy and Natalie. When I was gonna get Patrick and Noah and go be with the boys and give Amy Natalie and let her go and stuff. And he told me in the shower, no, you can't. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean I can't? I can do that. I can get Patrick back, have Noah. Amy goes off with Natalie. And then, there's no child support and we don't have to fuck with anything. It's just me. I get my Patrick back. Don't get fucked over by the courts. I get Patrick and Noah, and we have the all-guy house. It'll be totally fun. And there will be some intelligent woman out there somewhere in Phoenix going, this is the best house in the history of the world. It's better than my 3 sons. It's, so there's no Uncle Charlie, But, so it would have been like, and as Patrick, got older and helped with Noah, we had a great time. Been so fun. But, a little voice in my head, no, you have to, And that's when I told everybody, no, I'm the only dad this little girl knows, And besides, and I told everybody that Kelly gave up the right to be dad when he beat Amy, at 8 months in the womb. That was it. That was according to me. That was it. But I wasn't sure if she was going to be with Kelly. She was just going to go out and find somebody, more fun, Yorgev, Gary, whatever, wherever, whenever. So I was like, So, but the little voice, Jesus in my head, goes, no, Earl, you have to stay because of Natalie. Because of Natalie. Okay, so I did. And I had no idea what they had planned. It was in 2000 and before Emily came, 2002, I think, yeah. And Ray Ray was like 3. She's so cute, my little Ray Ray. She's so cute. Yeah. Mama, Malaki, no. She's so cute. But yeah, so she was my little Ray Ray Shanae, And then things got really hard and difficult, with her relationship with her mom and with me. And we always had our little things, but me and her, we regarded and protected one another. And it got real complicated in Sierra Vista and then here in Cruces because of all the science, the rocket science perverts, not because of me and Natalie or Amy. I don't think Amy's a monster. I don't think Amy's a bad person at all. I think Amy was manipulated by the worst perverts in the history of, you do know that Antoine LaVey and Michael Aquino gives you all these people on TV that you're like, this person was doing that, and they were taking people and they would have sex parties and making people have sex with them before they could have and they've been doing that since before Antoine LaVey and Michael Aquino anyway. Casting room couch. My dad turned down the casting room couch back in the 1960s in LA when he got the gig from Andy Griffith. Yeah. Met Andy Griffith, liked Andy Griffith, great guy, right? Then when he tried to go get in, Andy set him up to go get in to try to be a stuntman in LA. And he said, at first it's great. Then you stay there and it's like, casting room couch, everybody stacks you and try to get this. And then when, I turned down the casting room couch and then got treated coldly. And then when they had the thing where the rival company came in and destroyed half the animals so they would get the gig in a movie, Dad said, that's it. I'm out of here. And then Mom and Dad went to Flat Stuff, and that's where I was conceived. And Flat Stuff, yeah. Because I always tell everybody that, if it wasn't for Cool Nights, by Paul Davis, on a cool night, just let me hold you by the firelight. If it don't feel right, you can't go. And so, yeah, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. That's what I'd always tell everybody. If it wasn't for Cool Nights in Flagstaff, Arizona, we wouldn't have Little Early Bird. We wouldn't have the 13th, 22nd Redeemer. Yeah. Those San Francisco pigs. Sheesh. Danetta, yeah. So, I guess that's why I have a connection to the yeah. I was conceived there, yeah. I was conceived up in Danetta. And then I was born down here, yeah. No, Mom, she would not let me be born in Texas. My mom did not like Texas. She didn't like all the racism and the bullshit. She hated it and stuff. And so, yeah, and I was like, Mom, you married a Texan. Well, he was cute. A girl is, he's so cute. Then poor Mom, halfway through the marriage all the time, all the girls would talk about how gorgeous my dad was, and my mom would, he's mean, they can keep him, he's mean. She'd always say that. He's mean. She'd always tell me that too. I grew up, she'd sit there and go, Earl, I don't want you to ever be mean to your wives and abuse them and tell them how stupid they are and stuff like that. And I was like, Mom, that's really hard. Girls say and do some real stupid things. Okay. So, but I would always be nice. Like when Steffi and Amy said certain things, I'd be like, baby girl, people will be mean to you. Don't say that in front of other folks, okay? Please. So, and she was like, you always let her know you love her. And my wife should always say, I don't care. I want you to do this. I want you to go make a lot of money or beat people that piss me off. And I was like, damn, it's like, but I say I love you all the time. I bring you flowers and everything, so we don't end up like, Neil Diamond and Barbara Streisand and shit, and what's the other guy's name? And I Danny Hathaway, I love you more than you'll ever know. Yeah, when you know where all my money went. Amy used to yell at me every year because I'd buy myself NCAA football $50 a year. And it came out during my birthday. It was my birthday present to myself. So one thing I got a year, and she'd tell me how selfish I was. And I was like, but you spend all our money going out, buying clothes, going to the club, cheating, and then you get pregnant, and I bring you back home, clean you up, Shelly's winter love, and then I buy one thing for myself, and you're so damn selfish. It's like, that's the only thing I ever bought. Our whole marriage. I had to buy new clothes when we were in Sierra Vista because all my clothes were going bad. I would buy stuff like I do now. I don't buy things until I've completely worn them out and they're no longer viable. You cannot use them, right? It's like there's one thing, that are not good when they're holy, and that's socks and underwear. Well, those two things, and shoes, right? Holy shoes, holy socks, and holy underwear, and holy pants. I also had holy pants. I got holy pants with holes in the crotch. And, okay, just holy clothes altogether. Okay? People sit there and say, you have a hole in the crotch of your pants, and then I also have one in the underwear. Okay, I'm sorry. You have, but holy shoes and holy socks sucks because you can walk down the road 8 miles and you get rocks all up in there and it's not comfortable and shit like that. So holy clothes sucks, man. Holy clothes ain't where it's at, y'all. Hey, maybe if a cat knows where it's at. See, all these people that are physically, sexually desirable on these commercials, they've been doing this for tens of thousands of years. It's egomania. But now it's all coming to a head and slam. You know what self-righteous means? What does that mean? It means thinking and believing you're right, even though you're obviously wrong. Okay, so forgive debt and trespass. Love one another, trust, faithful, peace. Stop acting like a fashion model with all that jewelry and all that fake-ass money. Live the Lord's Prayer, and then you'll be as gorgeous as me, seriously. Yeah, you know I is, right? If you don't know what that I is, you never called me a Southwest Airlines and thought I was a big black man and flirted with me. The gay guys wouldn't. They would go, because I was a slow typer. Oh, I'm not putting up with this shit. I'm out of here. The women were all like, it's okay, honey. I'll walk you through it. Well, thank you for being so patient and sweet with me. It was my pleasure. I was like, it is so good to be a big black man with a deep voice. The women are so nice to you. Oh, yeah. If I was a Klan member, I would have been pissed. That was my wife, and she was so nice to that black man on the thing. But I'm not black. I'm white. I look like Barry Gibb. Is it okay if she's nice to a guy who looks like Barry Gibb? No, staying alive. I had more fun than people at Southwest Airlines when they had the call centers open and stuff like that, because most people were nice to me because I was a big black man, and they were either intimidated or scared or just really cool. Most people at Southwest Airlines were really cool. Yeah, most people back then that flew Southwest because they was poor. Most of them was just really cool. All right, y'all. I love you. Peace out, man.